Hello friends, it's Amanda here, and today we are talking about this palette. This is one of the most hyped up palettes of the fall. It's the Tarte Maneater After Dark palette, and let me tell you, I have a lot of thoughts about this palette. I just want to say I have a long history with the Tarte Maneater palettes. The very first Maneater palette, it was years ago, probably 5 years ago. I loved that palette. It was one of those little double duty beauty palettes that had like a highlighter, and then they remade that to be just a regular 9-pan palette, but it was basically the same. I loved that palette. It was one of my favorites. I think I put it in the best of the year. I'm sure I did because I was just crazy for that palette. So when I saw another new Maneater palette coming out, my initial reaction was nervous, not excited, especially if you've seen my Too Faced Pumpkin Spice Second Slice video. You know, a lot of the times they take things that I love and they remake them, they redo them, and they mess them up. So we are gonna dive into this palette and I'm gonna let you know if that's what happened or not. I'm gonna give you swatches, a tutorial, close-ups, all my thoughts along the way. I went to my local Ulta and they still had a couple of these on the shelves. So I did purchase this myself. I bought it at Ulta. It's priced at $52 US, which I felt was pretty steep. I haven't really been shopping for their palettes in the past couple of years, so I was a little bit taken aback by that price tag. But this is a larger palette, as you can see. It's a 24-pan palette, so there's a lot of shadows in here, and these aren't little tiny rinky-dink shadows either. These are 1 gram pans, so pretty decently sized. So let's take a close-up look at this palette and its packaging, and then we'll jump into some swatches and a tutorial. Taking a look at the outer box first, it's pretty straightforward here. I actually kind of like this just picture of the inside of the palette on the box. I didn't think that I would like this. Typically I do like a little fancy frou-frou theming, but something about this just really works well for me. And when you see the packaging on the palette, you really get a more minimalist, chic, kind of moody vibe from the actual palette. So this typically wouldn't be my favorite way to go with the front of a palette, but for this one, definitely seems to work. Now, I want to say this palette currently is Ulta exclusive, but seeing the back here printed in so many different languages makes me think that this palette probably will eventually be sold internationally. I don't know. I have no insight into Tarte at all, but I just wanted to point that out because I think this could be a hint to us. I know a lot of international folks are wanting this palette, so maybe, possibly. Also, this palette is both cruelty-free and vegan, so all my vegan friends out there, this will be available for you as well. Here's the palette itself. Like I said, the packaging's a lot more minimalist. We just have the contrasting textures with the black on black animal print. This palette definitely feels a lot more luxurious than I expected. It has this really nice looking slimline packaging that I wasn't really expecting. Of course, the back is just covered in fingerprints, but you know, when you have a metallic surface, that's what happens. Looking at the inside of the palette, there is a really big mirror here. And some of the eyeshadow pans you can see have the little animal print on the shadows themselves as well. I've been using this palette a ton over the past week or 10 days that I've had it, so all of my shadows aren't as pristine and beautiful as they once were. But if you want to see what these look like when they're nice and fresh, check out my Instagram or my TikTok, and I did take some photos and videos of this palette before I start swatching it and wearing it, so you can see what it looked like in its beautiful brand new state. We do have a sort of organization system with the colors here. Each row across of 6 shadows is its own little color story. So the very top row, warm red and orange. Middle row is more of a warm golden type of theme. Then the third row seems to me that we're going a little bit more towards the neutral colors. Obviously, nothing in this palette is very cool toned, but we're definitely toning down the warmth more on the bottom half with this neutrals with a pop of green row, and then the very bottom is a pinky mauvey purpley type of row. So that's how I swatched them. That way you can see these little mini color stories all laid out together as well. There's quite a mixture of textures in here. It's almost half matte. There are 11 true mattes in here. None of these are mattes with glitter, and the remaining shades are all metallics, but it does seem like some of them have a different texture. Any of the shimmer or metallic pans that don't have this sort of leopard print do feel like a very thick, foily type of shadow. Sort of has a little bit of a moisture and a bounce to it, almost like a Super Shock shadow, but not quite that slippy and silicone-y feeling. I wouldn't call them cream shadows, but they're definitely creamy shadows. Hopefully that makes sense. And then the pans that have the animal print stamped into them are a very rich, very, very foily shadow as well, but they don't quite have that slippy, silicone-y, almost cream shadow feeling to them. The mattes in here are really nice as well. I do think that the metallics are the standout formulas. However, the mattes are really silky smooth. They blend well. Really only this matte black did I feel like I wasn't getting a great swatch. And even then, the brush swatch looks beautiful. It was just more when I was dipping my finger in, it felt a little bit more dry to the touch. But overall, these mattes are not that super opaque, inky, very, very pigmented type of matte. And I know some people really love those. Personally, I like it when mattes are quite pigmented as these are. You can see they really hold their color and they seem nice and smooth, but they're not so overly pigmented that they're leaving tons of fallout and they're hard to blend together. These mattes are very buildable. You can definitely get a super deep, sultry type of look out of them if that's what you're going for, but they're easy to wear a little bit more softly as well, and I do think that they're more forgiving than a incredibly densely pigmented matte shade. These blend really well together. They blend easily on the eye. They work well together while still holding their own color. So I do think this is a nice matte formula. But for me, it's the metallics that really steal the show here. They are super bright, foily, sparkly. I've been wearing these shadows for, like I said, more than a week now, and they wear really well. Sometimes when you have a super foily shadow, they tend to fade or crease or fall out, and these stayed looking nice. I wore this exact eye look. After filming videos, I wore this eye look out to like a little street fair thing, and I was wearing this look for probably 10, 11, 12 hours, and when I got home, you could still see every single color. I did not have glitter all over my face. Now look, it's pretty hot out. I was out in the elements for a long time, so it's not like it looked just like this, but it was still impressively intact. And I was really happy with the wear time of all of these shadows, but particularly these really sparkly metallic shades are just super impressive. My one complaint with this palette is that some of the bronzy, orangey, reddy, goldy metallics all tend to start to look the same. I do wish there was just a little bit more variety. I could have gone for a couple more greens and purples instead of so much gold and bronze, but overall I think this color story is cohesive and exciting. I gotta say, I'm surprised in a good way this time. This palette is stunning. The packaging, the details, the color selection, the shadow performance, everything about this is worth every single penny. This is worth all of the hype. This absolutely is the palette of the fall. This is definitely one of the most exciting, interesting things I've seen Tarte do in a while, and I'm happy for them. I'm happy for me that I have it, and I'm happy for Tarte that they made it. I hope we continue to see more like this from Tarte because their performance is usually really good. It's just, for me anyway, their products tend to be a little bit boring. I know, that sounds mean, but just their color stories aren't really it for me, and this is really blown me away in every aspect. I love it. I recommend it. I literally want to wash my eyeshadow off and do a different look because it's so fun to play with. This is a hit for me anyway. This is a major, major hit from Tarte. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this palette. Is it on your wish list? Have you already picked it up? What do you think? I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! I'm fine. I'm fine. Just knocking all the things over. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's really fun to play with it. It's a really fun sound. Will everybody be satisfied by that? I don't know why you wouldn't be. I am. I'm sweating. I'm working up a sweat. These studio lights. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about this unique New York. Nailed it. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go eat tacos from a food truck. That's what I'm gonna do. I hope that you do something as equally delicious with your day. I gotta go get ready because I gotta go eat tacos from a food truck. It's gonna be really fun. Hopefully it's not too hot. The weather, not the tacos. The tacos can be hot. I don't think I rambled too much, did I? It's fine. Okay, I love your face. Thanks for watching. You're so cute and cool and awesome, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye!